Okay, hi guys. We're going to check section 1.5 here. This one talks about quadratic equations. Okay, and so for the start of this one, we're going to start with our general definition. The definition of a quadratic equation in the general form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A, b, and c are allowed to be any values that they want, positive, negative, decimal fraction, doesn't matter. The only restriction is a cannot be 0. If a was 0, 0 times that x squared would make the x squared go away, and you would no longer have a quadratic. You have to have that x squared term there to make it a quadratic. This is also called a second degree polynomial, and that's because the highest power is 2. Now, we're going to look at 4 different options for how to solve these. We're going to look at factoring, we're going to look at square root properties, we're going to look at completing the square, and then the quadratic formulas. So for this video, I'm going to work on factoring, and then we'll see the other ones in some other videos. So the concept behind factoring is we're going to make use of this thing called a zero product principle. And this basically says if you were multiplying 2 things together, or 3, or any number together, but specifically for this one, 2, and you let that, and it states that when you do that multiplication, the answer is 0, then one of the 2 things that you are multiplying with must be 0. Either the first piece is 0 or the second piece is 0. Now, in order to solve these, you can use whatever method you like. There are several different methods that I've seen people use. Some use just kind of a trial and error. Some use a box. Some use a divide and slide. There's several different methods. So I'm not here to tell you what method you have to use or what method you prefer. Once you have it factored, though, you're then going to set each factor equal to 0 and then solve. So the first example of this that we're going to look at, and I'm going to go ahead and get this one written over here on my other board, and then I'll switch, is this one. Okay, so now we've got 2x squared plus x equals 1. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract the 1 from both sides. So now we're going to have 2x squared plus x minus 1 equals 0. And now we're going to work to factor this down. Now, to factor means that we're going to have 2 sets of parentheses. And basically, we're undoing like that idea of FOIL. Now, with this back number being a 1, I know that has to come from the last, and there's really only one way to have that happen, and that's a 1 and a 1. For the 2x squared up here, again, not a whole lot of options. It's going to have to be a 2x and an x. Now I need to sort out my signs. Because this is negative, the only way that's going to happen is one of these is positive and one of them is negative. I need more positive, so the 2x, when it interacts with this one, needs to be positive, and then that means this one is going to be negative. So once I have it factored, I'm now going to set each factor equal to 0, and we're going to solve as normalized. So I'm going to add 1, we're going to divide by 2. We're going to subtract 1 over here. So here are our 2 answers, okay? And again, how you do your factoring, I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm not here to tell you how to do it or anything like that. But that is our first method. I'm going to put up a couple of other videos for the other methods.